Hi, this is Regina White Favors coming to you with Rebound Relationship Special Topics. This is part of my Life Rebound and Recovery series where I explore particular trending topics and also just everyday relationship topics. Take some time to listen to this audio discussion, maybe gain some insight. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment and I will respond. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification button if you're interested in further topics. This is Rebound Relationship Special Topics. Thank you very much for visiting the channel. So, don't be so quick to find another, right? The mind needs rest. You know, these types of relationships where people are playing games or any type of long-term true relationship, it messes with your mind because we don't get into stuff just to get out. At least people who are well-intentioned. I'm not trying to get into something to get out, right? But even say the guy who has a dating rotation and he's really not trying to marry anybody, and that he has a woman each day, for the week. Even that person lies to himself, because no matter what, having to balance all those different women 7 days a week, or I don't know, he might rest, that affects your mind. Sure, you might get some things done in another area, right? But it literally it will show up somewhere how much it affects you. Maybe sometimes things show up when we least expect them. Maybe we're on a date and someone says something and it triggers us. Maybe we are in the house, taking a quick nap, and an image pops up, right, in our head, and that triggers us. You can't get away from your mind. It's in you. Your mind takes pictures of who you are, what you have done, what you're trying to do. And as you try to move forward, you always have the pictures of the past flooding through your mind. Some pictures, bother you. Some pictures do not. But I guarantee you, on some level, having sex with all these different women or men is going to bother you later. I promise you, the prostitute, while she is in the throes of passion, having sex with different men, when she gets alone with herself, her mind begins to replay all of that. That's why you have people who do drugs, who do alcohol, right, to self-medicate, because they're trying to get out of their mind, or trying to get their mind out of them. And so don't be so quick to find another person just after a breakup. I guarantee you, a lot of times it doesn't work. And I understand that some people can find other people, and maybe that person stays married to the new person they got. But there's always a brick wall, because whatever you did not resolve within yourself, within the time that you had to resolve, is going to show up somewhere. It may not show up in this new partner. You might have found the right person right after a breakup and y'all stay married forever, right? But the issues that you were struggling with in that previous relationship is going to show up on the job, maybe with another man, with a friend, through a family member, his family member, right? It's going to show up. And so you can't get to greater battles until you address those types of issues that are still lingering. So don't be so quick to find another. The mind needs rest. Don't be so quick to pursue a gap filler. The body needs rest. I never dated. I probably had, I was dating a guy in high school, and we went out to maybe like the movies or something like that. And whoever I was with, we sort of, I knew that person for a while, and we kind of dated together as just a single, couple. Exclusively couple. But I never just went to a bar and like had had multiple dates, right? 10 partners a year or something like that, because I always had this understanding that if I dated, I would run the risk of maybe having sex out of maybe, 5 of those partners or something like that, 3 or 4. And I mean, if you start calculating and accumulating, that's 3 or 4 per year. And then for 10 years, I mean, that's a lot of people to have sex with. So I can count on one hand the partners that I've had. And it's not like I'm like trying to say that to be proud or anything like that. But I do think to myself, I'm kind of glad that that did not happen. However, I have engaged in shacking situations. And I do wish on some level that I might have pursued a date or two so that I could really understand what the game was. I came to the game in my 40s. And had I maybe had 1 or 2 dates a year, maybe in my 20s, I might have been able to see things a lot clearer and wouldn't have had a lot of emotional, mental, psychological, and financial, as well as spiritual setbacks. So the body needs rest. What happens is we pursue a gap filler because we automatically understand that if we are not with that person, that means that we're not going to be able to get the sex that we want, right? Or the sex that we were getting on a regular. And people oftentimes base their decisions on sex, not if the person is truly compatible, not if the person is a good financial provider, not if the person has a good head on his shoulders or her shoulders, not if the person is a leader or is, trying to go somewhere, pursuing something. People, we all don't really pursue what we should pursue in terms of thinking about a romantic partner. We think about the sex first. So then if you get out of a relationship and you haven't rested, you're going to pursue another relationship where you can get what you are lacking, right, as a result of losing a relationship. And then we all know that when you get into a new relationship, you spend more time having sex. You still don't learn about each other. You spend more time having sex. And then when your ex tries to come back because you still love him or you love her, you have sex with that person. Right? So all throughout this time, you are having sex with 2 different partners, the new and the old. You're not resting your body. And that's important for both women and men. I know men think they can handle things, but you still have parts of your body that just needs rest. Your back, your legs, your thighs, anything that you can think of, because, you have to walk on those legs. You have to work that body in terms of being on a job. And you don't want to run yourself down in terms of sexually and have it affect other areas in your life. So that's something to think about. Don't be so quick to pursue a gap filler. The body needs rest. Don't be so quick to plead your case. The heart needs rest. I remember when I was in the cheating situation with my ex, I was never much of a person who got on her knees and begged someone or anything like that. I've never been that kind of person. I don't think anybody should do that, man or woman. But I do remember times when I found out that he was cheating with his ex, the ex who wouldn't take him back, but she kept playing around with him. He was cheating with his ex, and I was just trying to make it clear to him that I was the one who really wanted to be with him. That was my way of sort of pleading my case, that I'm the one who wants to be with you. I'm the one who loves you. I'm the one who has been working hard in this relationship. She doesn't want you. But it would have been better that when I first found out that he was cheating, to leave him alone altogether. See, I didn't know. Had I known that and known how much heartache that it brought and mental issues that it brought and spiritual issues and financial issues, had I known that being in that kind of relationship, I couldn't sleep at night. I literally couldn't sleep at night, and I had to get up early in the morning to go to work. And so that affected what I did at my job. And then I had to turn around and come back home, and I didn't even want to come home. Sometimes I would stay at the job for a long time on purpose. And yes, I got some work done, but who wouldn't want to come home to somebody you claim you love? And so my heart was tired. Not just my mind, but my heart was tired. You can get a heart attack dealing with a cheater, dealing with a liar, dealing with a person who refuses change. You can have a stroke, and you stay in it too long, and you could be in a mental hospital. So that's something that you want to think about. Sometimes it may be not a good idea for you to plead your case. That if the person is cheating, the person wants to cheat, period. Because cheating means exit. Now, I've heard many men say that to cheat is to exit. And so that means that the person wants out on some level. So we need to have the courage to let them go, because it is for our safety, our sanity. You can't tell me Mary Joe Buttafuoco and Amy, I forget the last name, when she came up and to the wife's door to shoot her in the face and in the eye, that wife never had any indication that her husband was a cheater. She knew something about him. He was never really on the up and up as a person. And so I'm not blaming her for staying with her husband or anything like that. But there are times that we may have to just not stay engaged in the relationship for our sanity and for our health and for, to prevent us from going to jail, to prevent us from dying. You could die. What if that gun had hit a place in her head that just caused her to die, and she still has bullet fragments in her skull? So the heart needs rest. Don't be willing, don't agree with the person's cheating so much to the point that you are also equally willing to lose your own life. Don't be so quick to make promises. The soul needs rest. Don't make a promise to a person that if you continue to cheat on me, we're done. Just be done. Right? Because if you don't follow through on that promise, then that's going to mess with you later. You might look at it as, okay, I'm giving him another chance, or I'm giving her another chance. But he looks at it, or she looks at it, see, I still got it. And I got him. And anytime I want him or anytime I want her, I can always come back around and do whatever I want to do with that person. And so I think subconsciously you know that. I think you know that, but you don't want to admit to it because you have put so much time into the relationship. You have invested. So why should you have to agree to something like that, right? No, the relationship that we are in is just going through some snags. Okay, we'll make it better. But the soul needs rest. Don't make promises. Get off to yourself away from that relationship and think. What I wish I had done in my previous relationships was have a conversation. I've been journaling that for a while now, that when I look back on this previous relationship, if I had had a conversation with him, maybe on a date at a restaurant, and let him talk, I think a lot of things would have been revealed. There are some things you just can't hide about yourself. If you are not a worker, it's going to come out. If you don't save any money, it's going to come out. If you jump from house to house or relationship to relationship, it's going to come out, because it's like your mind and your heart betrays you, and it sort of reveals to the other party that you are not what you say you are. And so when people are jumping from things to things, that their soul, there's a problem with their soul. And if there's a problem with their soul, and you come into their life, or they come into your life, you end up making or creating a soul tie. And the longer you stay in those relationships, it it, it develops. Then it makes it very hard to get out of those relationships. And sometimes people never get out. Sometimes they die out of the relationship, blood in, blood out. So don't be so quick to make promises. The soul needs rest. Don't be so quick to spend money. The finances need rest. This is one of the worst things for women to do, is to sort of become a mother to her partner. And as soon as the man needs something, and a lot of times, remember, men usually don't even ask. They might say something in passing, and but they won't ask you, can you give me $20, right? Or I don't have my rent this month. Can you spot me a $300 or something like that? They won't actually ask you. What they'll do is say something, and then the woman will volunteer. Oh, well, what's wrong with your rent? You need your rent? Here, I got it. Now, keep in mind, the woman hasn't even paid her rent yet. She's giving over her rent before she's even paid her rent, meaning that she's covering him before she's even covered herself. And as a 100% responsible adult, you are 100% responsible to care for yourself as an adult. That means you need to make sure that your car is paid for, or the car note is paid for, the insurance is paid for, anything that is related to the car legally that needs to be paid for. You need to make sure that your rent or your mortgage is paid for, your housing, your home, a place that you can lay your head, that needs to be paid for. You need to make sure there's food in the house. You cannot go and buy other people food when you don't have any food yourself in the house. You can't take care of people when you haven't taken care of yourself. You are not a child. And that person who is an adult is not a child. And what people do oftentimes, they try to get you to be the mother that they wish they had, or the father that they wish they had, right? Or the sister or the brother or the guardian, whoever it is. And they want to use your finances to accomplish things in their life, instead of actually going out and working and trying to make it happen for themselves. So don't volunteer your money. Again, going back to the conversation, listen to people. People will show you who they are in terms of the money that they have or claim they don't have. I remember a time when I was at work, and this girl, she just made it seem like she was in dire trouble and she needed some money. And so I went on ahead and gave her the money. She knew I had some money because we were working on the same job. Okay. And we made the same kind of money, basically. So she knew what I had without me even having to volunteer the amount of money that I had. But she did that, and then she came in maybe like a day or two later with her hair fixed, her nails done, and some new shoes. And I'm looking at her, and it was a customer service environment, and I was taking calls, but I was looking at her at the same time I was talking to a customer. And I said, now, why does she have on hair? Why does she, I'm sorry. Why does why is her hair fixed? I couldn't even get my own hair fixed. Why is her hair fixed? Why does she have on new shoes and things like that? I found out that girl was just using my money to fund her lifestyle. And at the time, having a lifestyle wasn't that big of a deal like we see now with reality TV shows and things like that. But it was still something. And instead of using her money to fund her lifestyle, she was trying to use my money to fund her lifestyle. And I stopped that. She tried again. I wasn't giving her anything because I'm not gonna spend my money just so you can be convenient or have convenience in your life. It's inconvenient to me to give you my money. Now I still struggle some years later because my mother was the kind of person that she would play those types of games too. And so it's hard to say no to your mother. And so I ended up having to learn some hard lessons. Then I ended up saying that, you know what, I cannot turn around and I can't give her money and then turn around and ask for that money. And that money becomes a loan to me. It was a gift that I gave to her. But when I needed it back, she actually loaned it to me. So then I had to pay back the loan to her. And then when she asked for some more money at the same time, give her new money. So that lets you know she was, financially ill. So then there came a time when I had to say to myself, I can't do this anymore because this is putting me at such an economic disadvantage that I'm closer to losing my place of living and everything. And so I started saying, okay, the money that I'm giving you actually is a loan to you. I'm going to need it back in a few months. She didn't like that. She did not like that. But that had to be because my mother was a grown individual too. She's a grown individual too. And so I had to make that decision. And that sort of began my process of not people pleasing anymore and things like that, and trying to work through that issue. So the finances need rest because when you're in these relationships, you're spending a lot of money because you're so excited. It's so exciting, you know what I mean, to be in a new relationship. You're going out, you're going places, you're going to the fair, you're going to you're going out to eat, you're going to the movies, you're doing all different types of things, and you're not really keeping track of your finances. And in some ways that's okay, but in other ways it is not okay if you mess up your finances so much to the point that you end up having to move in with somebody. That doesn't make any sense either. So don't be so quick to spend money. The finances need rest. Sometimes you just need to leave your money alone. Go to work, go to the store, come on back home. Don't do a lot of heavy um, spending while you are trying to rest from your emotional, mental, psychological turmoil. Because if you do that, you're going to find yourself spending a lot more money that you did not plan for. Don't be so quick to attach to status quo. So the belief system needs rest. So the belief system today is all about open relationships, or as I noticed, is love is love. Everybody deserves love, and love is love, right? So they're trying to make that statement the status quo, the normal. And anytime you begin a process of trying to make something status quo, you try to popularize it, right? You make it popular so that you are basically putting all those words in everybody's mouth, right? From community to community, from race to race, from gender to gender, from city to city, state to state, and then globally, right? And so then before long, we're all saying in repetition, love is love. Okay. But the problem with that argument is there are no boundaries or rules, because you are in a relationship with one person and you say love is love. And then what happens if you meet another person? Is that love too? Is that love is love as well? And many people are deciding to sort of have one foot in a relationship and one foot out of a relationship because they want options. When I mentioned the dating rotation, that's a person who has at least 5 to 6 partners, one for just if there's an issue with the fifth partner, right? But one person um, cooks for the man. Another person will um, pay for a meal. Another person might clean his house or something like that. And in all cases, they are all sexual partners. He might spend more time with one of them, but they are basically all sexual partners. So now he's basically creating a belief system because if you get people to agree with it, like you are in a dating rotation, he's telling you that you are in a dating rotation and you stay, then you must agree with it. You agree with the belief system that this is okay to do, that it is okay to adopt a dating rotation, right? You have a marriage, and people love to put out there open relationships, and they tell us don't be judgmental, and that we need to get with the program, and that we need to grow up. Okay, if you're going to be in an open relationship, why get married? If it's going to be okay for each partner to have sex with someone else, then just live together. Why get married? Why damage the institution of marriage? It's almost like you're making a mockery of it. That plays on your mind after a while, because here it is. You might say your partner, it's okay for him to go out and have sex with somebody, and vice versa. But men in particular don't like that. I don't care what you say. That person is not going to like, even the man who is the biggest cheater around is not going to like it if his wife is cheating too. It's something that he believes is for him to do, right? So these open relationships, these partnerships, all different types of alternative relationships, these are belief systems, and they all fall up under one sort of heading, no rules allowed, essentially, right? But the irony is they are using rules in order to say no rules. They are using marriage in order to say really no marriage. It doesn't make any sense. So you want to sort of challenge your own belief systems. Why did you get into relationships with people who meant you no good? That's a belief system that you're just going to take it, that you're just going to put up with it because, well, he's not hitting me every day, or he's not cheating on me every weekend, or he did take me out to dinner. I mean, he did, kind of massage me and everything. And then we did sort of have a good sexual night. I mean, there's something there. I mean, he wouldn't call me, even though he's calling you once a week, for a booty call. He wouldn't call me if he didn't care. Okay, those are your belief systems that you are um, perpetuating, managing, supporting his larger belief system that you are not a priority. I'm not going to ever make you a priority. I'm not going to marry you. So you're going to have to take whatever I give you, right? Your belief system needs rest. You need to figure out, sometimes you may need to take a journal and try to figure out, what is it? What in the world is it that I keep attracting these types of people? What's going on? And so once you can do that, you won't be so susceptible to attaching yourself to the status quo. You will stand up for yourself, and you will begin to challenge your own belief systems and thinking about what it is you need to change for yourself. Because if you turn around and get right back into a relationship that is emotionally abusive, it is going to turn deadly later. Trust me, it's going to turn deadly later. So then the other options, the alternative is to be quicker to write. The pain needs an outlet. Be quicker to write. That before you engage in new relationships, write out what's going on in your heart first. Take some time to think about the pain that comes from breaking up with someone. I don't care what length of time it was. It's painful, and you have every right to call it that it was painful. And so take some time to think about that, because, you know, that pain can wrap around your neck like a chain and take you down before you even realize what's going on, until you decide that you need to rest. So the pain needs an outlet. You need to be able to sit down and journal your ideals and journal what's going on in your heart and journal all the mistakes you made, things you could have done a lot better. All of us can go back and do things better, even if it was with a partner who was physically and emotionally abusing us. If we would have not taken it the first time and left, we wouldn't have to suffer the consequences of living with that pain forever until we die, right? So be quicker to write. The pain needs an outlet. Be quicker to assess the setback. The pain needs examination. Well, it is a setback. When there is relationship failure or failure of any kind, it is considered a setback. And anytime you are set back, it is usually because you didn't learn something. Think about school. When we didn't pass a class, we could not move forward, right? We had to be set back because there were concepts and strategies and learning that we did not get and understand. We did not pass that math class. Maybe we didn't apply ourselves. Maybe we just truly didn't understand, right? But regardless, you cannot graduate without passing that math class or that English class or that science class or that history class. So if you are in relationship failure, you need to assess that as a setback, because it is going to set you back, because of the pain alone will set you back. So that requires you to examine what happens when we go, to the doctor. The doctor takes down a history of our issues. We report some things, and then the doctor takes down a list of our issues, and then the doctor sort of uses his technical knowledge to sort of think through what could be the problem. And then the doctor will run some tests, go into his office, think about a few issues, things like that, and then come back and tell you what the actual issue is. Okay, that's how you need to do what you need to do for yourself after a relationship failure. That you need to take some time to look at where the issue is, what the issue is. Are you still struggling with certain types of issues that just actually become like a running theme in your life? The theme in my life, in terms of failures, was always not planning for a transition, right? But another theme in my life after, thinking about these books, was rebounding. That for the most part, I've had relationships where I was the rebound. Now, I had pursued a rebound before. I didn't know the person was a rebound. It was a friendship and then also another type of relationship. And I didn't know it. I was wounded in an area and I had pulled at somebody for comfort, and then realized later that I really didn't need that person, and then I let the person go. So I've been there, and I've had it done to me multiple times. So that's why I started to write the Rebound books. I started to really just take some time to think. I said to myself I was not going to get into any more relationships and friendships so I can figure out what was wrong with me. That's what I mean. The pain needs examination, and you don't know. When it comes to pain, you have to determine where you hurt. Where do you actually hurt? You can have some pains that you can sort of get over, but then there are some pains that are so deeply rooted, deep-seated, deeply rooted pains that it's going to take some time, to get over those pains. It's not something that you can get over in a day. So be quicker to assess the setback. The pain needs examination. Be quicker to recognize your patterns. The pain needs to criticize rhythms. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of habits. If you continue to jump from relationship to relationship to relationship, you are perpetuating pattern. You are developing a rhythm. That's why you see these people, they stay in these very toxic relationships because that's all they have learned. They haven't learned anything else. But when you rest after breakup, you begin to see the patterns. And I mean, when I say rest, I mean rest. Don't even go to clubs. Don't go to clubs. Don't hang out with your girlfriends. Don't be too involved in family. Really take some time to think, because you need to be able to criticize your rhythms. Why you keep doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. You can't blame anybody else because you are the perpetrator, the perpetrator of your own rhythm, right? So be quicker to recognize your patterns, your rhythms, your habits, your strategies. You know, I remember someone telling me about how they used to have problems with their money, and so they would take one credit card to pay another credit card, or they would get ask money from somebody else to pay their own bills. You know, that begins a pattern, because if they give you the money, you feel like you are accepted and that you can continue the pattern of always asking for money. I know a person right now has a job, has like a little hobby where he makes money, has a number of sort of income outlets, but he always has to ask um, for gas money. I mean, I don't understand how you can have all of that money and you never have any money for gas, and you know you have a car, right? So, well, he's in a pattern. He or she is in a pattern. And they don't care that it is becoming rhythmic, because all they care about is that I know that I'll be able to get this from this person when I need it. It's like establishing many little banks, okay? But at what point are you going to that 25 save 25 extra dollars to make sure you don't have to ask anybody? Maybe if saving the $25 is hard, maybe you need to put it in a gift card. Put $100 in a gift card as you plan your finances. Sometimes I had to do that at the beginning because I couldn't trust myself with money. But then I got tired of myself and I said, no, we're going to have to save, period. That's it. And so be quicker to recognize your patterns, because the pain needs to criticize rhythm. You are in a rhythm of toxicity, and you are the originator. No one off the streets just comes up and beats you. You have to let that person into your life and into your house. Okay, if you keep doing something like that, if you're the type of person who you always have someone come live with you, right? Whether it's a romantic relationship or friendship, and that it ends up turning toxic, you have to remember that you are the one literally who opened the door. So then you may have to start thinking to yourself, I got to close this door. And it may be temporarily, it may be permanently, but for whatever reason, you have to close it so you can heal in this area. So then when you decide to return to open your door, you know how to set boundaries. So be quicker to recognize your patterns. The pain needs to criticize rhythms. Be quicker to plan for the future. The pain needs a vision, a picture of going forward. Very important. Very, very, very important. You need to have a vision of where you want to go. And it's hard to see people who wander aimlessly without any purpose. You know, they don't have any idea of what they want to do, right? And so they just do whatever they do, whatever that comes up for them in that moment, they do. And that's usually illegal activity, because if you had a purpose in your life, a vision for yourself, you wouldn't be so quick to go and engage in illegal activity, because you know it's going to lead to jail or prison or to death. So be quicker to plan the future, because you do have a right to your future. Despite what anybody has said to you, you know, you as a child, you know, you had a dream in your heart, you know, I want to become a doctor, I want to become a doctor, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then some idiot decided to come along and say, oh, you can't do that. Despite what that person has said, you still have a right to become what you see in your heart. Now, you do have to understand, you got to have the work ethic. You have to build the work ethic for something like that. You have to care, right? You just cannot just all of a sudden say, I want to be a doctor, and don't do all the stuff necessary to become a doctor and train and do well, right? So the vision that you see of yourself, the vision in your heart, the picture of progress, plan for that. Because the more you begin planning, the less likely you'll be tempted to get into monkeyness. You got to say to yourself, you'll say to yourself, no, I got to study because I'm trying to become this. Oh, no, I got to do this because I'm trying to do this, right? Whatever it is, whatever the this is. But you're so busy trying to become the image that you see in your heart, you don't have time to play a lot of games. And that's what bothers me, that we get with all these people and form these toxic relationships, and the other person has no true intention of doing anything right, of going after anything, and we sort of become the gap filler for them in their lives out of maybe sympathy, pity, right? But if the person is not willing to do it, right, then why do it for them? You know, a person will say, okay, I got to get a job. Okay, but you don't see them go out and go get the job application. What we do is we volunteer our time and we go get the job application for them, or we fill out the job application for them. But if they want the job, they will go and do it themselves. My ex was like that. He knew how to work a computer, but he worked me instead. Oh, I really do need you to help me with this job application while I'm doing this. Can you do this? The problem is, what I found out later, that he was great at getting jobs, but he was horrible at staying on them. And when I realized that he was just a quitter like that, I stopped helping him in that way. I stopped giving him my finances. I started to have him just save his finances and say, under the guise, save for us if we ever need anything. But I had already planned to let him go. I just wanted to make sure that when he left, he had money to leave. I wouldn't have had to feel guilty about, exiting the relationship. So be quicker to plan for the future. The pain needs a vision, a picture of going forward. Because when you put that picture on the wall, wherever you have it in your phone, your heart begins to think. It begins to wish for it. It begins to plan for it. It begins to long for it. And then you need to put action towards it. It just can't be a picture on the wall or in your phone or in your notebook. It has to have plans. So be quicker to plan for the future. The pain needs a vision, a picture of going forward. This is the last one. Be quicker to pursue thrive. The pain needs resolution. Don't get into another relationship until you are healed from that pain, or until you have the type of understanding that healing is ongoing for that pain, right? That some things might require your lifetime to be healed from. And then there are some things that you can get healing from uh, much earlier, that you don't have to take 15 years to get healing from. So be quicker to pursue thrive. The pain needs resolution, because before you get into another relationship, you need to resolve that pain, especially the pain of somebody cheating on you, especially the pain of somebody hitting you, especially the pain of somebody lying on you, especially the pain of somebody misusing you, mishandling you, abusing you. That's a hard pain to work through. And no relationship that you encounter is going to solve that pain. That is something that I'm not saying that you can't get advice from people You can't get someone that who says something to you that really sparks um, the next part of your journey. But to engage in a romantic relationship, is only going to exacerbate the situation. It's much better that you go on ahead and just take some time, some solitude time, work through the pain, and then when it's time for you to return to the dating market, uh, I don't know if you're just completely healed, but you have addressed it. You know how to guard yourself and how to make sure, how to stand up for yourself in certain areas where you might be triggered. All right, so hopefully you were able to gain insight from this video discussion. Please like, subscribe, and visit. So uh, please like the video, hit the notification bell for more discussions. I am re-uploading all of my audios, so I needed to make some changes to them. You can visit my website for more content at reginayfavors.com. If you want to send me an email, you can send an email reginayfavors@yahoo.com. Please also purchase the book. It's going to come out in spring 2021. So I had to make changes to my book to update it, and I also updated the title. So the original title was Bait, Hook, and Switch: Confessions of a Rebound Girl, and I have updated the title to Toxic Encounters: Why People Pursue Rebound Relationships. So right now I'm still basically editing it, and I want to make it available in spring 2021. So thank you very much for visiting my channel, and I am Regina Y. Favors. Have a great day.